You might associate Volkswagen with some of the most beloved car designs, like the harmless-looking Volkswagen Beetle or the playful VW Bus. However, behind the innocent facade of these iconic cars lies one of the darkest histories in the world of business.
Welcome to the channel. If you did not get a chance to see the part 1, you can check it out over here. Before you start the tutorial, I request you to subscribe to the channel. This is completely free for you guys, but it helps me a lot. Let's get started. Let's start with the second part. As usual, you will find all the resources and assets in the video description as well as on the WhatsApp channel. Firstly, we have the logo which we need to transform by adding a scribble effect. Let's drag the logo to the timeline, decrease the size a bit, go to adjustments, and I'm going to increase the fade all the way to 100. Next, take a copy of this. For that, click on Alt and drag this up. Now go to effects. In cartoon, we are going to use black and white comic one. So just drag it to the clip. Keep the filter as around 10 and the texture can be around 40. Let's also give a texture to this. I'm going to add this effect to the clip and decrease the color to around 10 and size to around 35. Now let's add the mask. Again, go to video, click on mask, bring the playhead to the start of the clip, click on horizontal mask, rotate this, bring it to the top left. Now scroll down a bit. In feather, give it little bit of feather, around 3 or 4. Add a keyframe, then go to the right, add another keyframe and drag this down. If you see it now, so it has given us the desired effect. If you want to take the logo to another level, we can add doodle diary to it. Simply drag it on top of this clip, remove the sticker, decrease the filter to around 10, speed can be same, and decrease the texture to around 20. If you see now, there is a texture on top of the clip. Let me just make it full screen and show it to you once. This looks good. I'm going to select both the clips and drag it above. In the background, let's add the clip of the car drawing. I'm just going to drag it to the timeline. I'm going to trim the remaining part. I'm going to delete this. If I zoom in now, there's a background which has come over here. If you want to remove this, you can simply add a mask to it. But as we have already added one mask, if you want to add another mask like the circle mask, we'll need to convert this into a compound clip. So I'm going to right click and create a compound clip and then click on circle mask, and you can keep it like this. Now let's add the other effects on top. Firstly, we have the snow. I'm going to drag this to the top. Even this one, we need to convert it into black snow. For that, go on adjustment, click on curves, in brightness luma and drag it little to the bottom right. Next, we need to add a vignette effect. For that, click on adjustment, add the custom adjustment, cover the entire clip, then scroll to the bottom and add the vignette effect. We can keep it around 20. Also, we can increase the fade to around 20. Also, if you see, the background is not there from the start, it is coming later on. Let's trim it to the right, go to animation and give it a fade in. Also, let's increase the fade in duration to around 1 second. Now let's add a transition between these two clips. Click on transitions and add a up transition. Okay, this is looking good. Let's move to the next part. Firstly, I'm going to drag the background, the chalkboard background, to the timeline. Expand it so that it fills the entire screen. Let's add the logo on top. This needs to be in the background. So we need to make it faded. Just go to adjustment, fade this completely, decrease the shadow to -50. Also decrease the saturation to around -25. Now let's add the two vehicles. Firstly, we have the Volkswagen Beetle and we also have the Volkswagen Bus. I'm going to reduce the size of both the vehicles. We'll need to blur the logo a bit. Just click on the logo, go to effects and drag blur on top of it. And you can reduce the blur. You can keep it around 25. Instead of black, I'm going to add a blue background. Simply reduce the temperature, decrease the saturation, and in curves, take it to the right bottom. Go back to basic, to the bottom, you can increase this and keep it around 40. Now let's work on the cars. For the first car, I'm going to decrease the saturation, reduce the size a bit. Also, let's increase the fade to around 40. Let's do the same for the Beetle, keep it around 40. Before we move to the text, let's add the transition between these two clips. Go to effect and drag this on top over here. Bring the playhead to the start, add a keyframe, take it to the right, add another keyframe and decrease the blur. If you see this now, you can keep the keyframe till the end. Let's increase the duration and keep it here and let's adjust this accordingly. This will look good once we add the text. Let's go on text, add the default text. The font that we will be using is Bebas Regular. Simply click on font and search for Bebas. Just going to write Volkswagen. Make it uppercase. Make a copy of this. Simply click on Alt and drag this up and write Beetle. Let me zoom in a bit. Bring this over here and increase the size. This can be in white. For the Volkswagen, we need to change the color. I'm going to use a pale shade of blue. Let's also name the Volkswagen bus. Select both and drag them to the left. Let's change the duration and now finally add the animation. We are going to use the throughout animation. Click on animation and click on throughout. Let's do the same for the rest. Before making the final changes, let's hear this once. It starts with the blur effect.
Harmless looking Volkswagen Beetle or the playful VW bus.
One thing that we need to make sure is that when the clip is going on, all the elements as a group are going to reduce in size. To do that, you can select them by pressing Ctrl, do right click and create a compound clip. Now take the playhead to the start of the clip. You can expand the clip, add a keyframe, then take the playhead to the end, add another keyframe and then reduce the size. Let's see this once.
Or the playful VW.
You can rotate this a bit, make this keyframe to the end. Now let's give the final touch and add the snow particles. In fact, we can use the same ones. I'm going to simply drag this over here. We're just going to keep it as white. So go to adjustments again. In curves, simply bring it back. See this once quickly.
Associate Volkswagen with some of the most beloved car designs, like the harmless looking Volkswagen Beetle or the playful VW bus.
This looks good, right? Now let's move to the final part. Over here we are going to use the ink splash effect. Let's add the background, expand this. We need to add the same Vinny effect on top of this. So instead of creating it from scratch, we are going to use the same one which we had created initially. So just click on it, press Alt and drag it on top of this. Next, let's just add the logo. We don't have the complete logo in this. So let's remove the below part by adding a mask. Simply click on mask, add a horizontal mask. You can keep it something like this. And for the remaining part, let's give it a feather. I'm going to drag it up a bit and keep it something like this. Let's quickly go to adjustments and reduce the temperature. You can keep it -40. Now let's add the ink effect. We're going to use this one. Trim it down. In the blend, make it brighten. This is currently revealing our logo, but we want this logo to be revealed in red. For that, we'll need to add a red background. Simply click on library, drop down in backgrounds. We have this red color. Drag this below the ink effect. Rotate it and expand it to fill the entire screen. Next in blend, click darken. Let's increase the size of the ink drop so that the entire logo can be revealed properly. Properly align the effect with the start. We can trim the initial part and then again bring it to the start. I'm going to resize it a bit. Again, it can be a little smaller and it can be something like this. As the clip moves on, we need to expand this a bit. For that, let's quickly add keyframes to all the 3 clips. Go to the start, add a keyframe and increase the size. Let's do the same for the logo. We can adjust it later so that everything fits properly. Add a keyframe, again go to the end, add another keyframe and increase the size. Let's see this once. Now let's work on the last effect. Add the ink splash to the timeline, expand it a bit, keep it to darken and then increase the size a bit. In animation, give a fade in animation. We need the initial part of the clip, so I'm going to expand it to the left and then adjust accordingly. Before we add the final text, let's add the money rent to the clip. Drag it below the ink effect. Okay, this is blending nicely. Let's add the text. Go to text, drag the default layer on top, make it Bebas regular, increase the size, go to animations and add a flicker effect. You can increase the duration to 3 seconds. Go back to basic, select the word darkest, in color, change it to red. Next, select the text layer and drag it up by clicking on Alt, right in the world of business. Reduce the size and take it below. I forgot to give it a glow effect. Let's quickly add the glow effect. Scroll down, click on glow, in color, keep it white. Let's do the same for the above clip. Click on glow. Let's give it a white and decrease the intensity. Now the only thing that is remaining is the transition. Simply go to media and drag it to the timeline. In the blend, we can keep it as screen. Now let's see the clip once from the start. I'm going to make it full screen.
You might associate Volkswagen with some of the most beloved car designs, like the harmless looking Volkswagen Beetle or the playful VW bus. However, behind the innocent facade of these iconic cars lies one of the darkest histories in the world of business.
That's it guys for today. So we have completed the second part. I really hope that you like the video. And if you want to know how to edit like pro YouTubers, you can check this playlist. I will see you in the next video.